What is going on, certified homies? Welcome to an episode of you thought you were coming to from A to B. No, this is CRO After Dark. Yes, it is. We have to whisper because everyone's asleep. This is probably going to be a super unhinged, terrible podcast that might not get another episode released. We'll see if you guys like it.
The best part of it, we have no idea how long this will be.
Or even what it is. I think we're going to figure it out in this episode.
Yes.
I think what you and I are hoping to get out of this is like kind of a talk show with topics rather than like a more formal podcast. You know what I mean?
Let's say that's what we had in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the idea or topic or thing we're going to discuss today is Dunning Kruger. So Sonny, what is Dunning Kruger?
Dunning Kruger in CRO. Let me just give you the most basic, down-to-earth explanation. It's when you're dumb but you think you're smart. Let's just put it that. Or when you're smart but you think you're dumb. Like that is about as basic as I can explain it. Yeah, it goes both ways.
You just said the same thing twice.
Dumb but you think you're smart, and smart but you think you're dumb.
Isn't that literally just the same thing?
Well, being dumb and being smart is not the same thing.
Wait, if you're smart but you think you're dumb, is that Dunning Kruger? If you think you're smart but you're dumb, that's Dunning Kruger. If you're dumb but you think you're smart,
it's both.
I don't think it's dumb but you think you're smart. I'm sorry, I don't think it's if you think you're dumb but you're smart. That's not Dunning Kruger.
There's a bell curve where your confidence goes up and down. The more you know, the less you. Come on, man.
All right, whatever. I am the embodiment of Dunning Kruger. I am Dunning Kruger. I don't know what it is, so I'm just assuming. That's some meta shit.
It's only for. Wait. Limited competence. I thought it was both. I'm the dumb one.
Boom.
I'm the dumb one.
Done, Neil.
Oh my God.
That shit. Shiva's right. Let's go.
I thought it was both.
Nope.
Huh.
I was pretty sure it wasn't.
That is so cool.
Hell yeah.
I've never seen you be right about anything. That is so awesome.
Right. So, just to be clear, one, Shiva was right. We got it on record.
I'm still reading.
Thing two, Dunning Kruger is when you think you know something, but you actually don't. Your confidence is high, but your knowledge is low.
That is correct.
Confidently incorrect. Another way to kind of phrase that.
Love that. Yep.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
What we're doing today, because we are confidently incorrect about a lot of things, we are both. We asked ChatGPT to give us 10 sharp talking points with hot takes for the episode about Dunning-Kruger effect and CRO.
Is this just like a ChatGPT reaction podcast?
Yes, it is. Yes. And we don't know what they are. That's the best part. So I'm going to read them. I need to put something on my screen so I don't see the ones below. Wait. There we go. The illusion of expertise. Many people who know just a little about CRO, like make that CTA button orange, overestimate their abilities. The Dunning-Kruger effect runs rampant in a field where simple-sounding tactics rarely yield predictable results. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was writing down like where does Dunning-Kruger insert itself? And for me, the top one is the stats piece. And to be fair, the stats piece is incredibly complicated, but we try to communicate the stats. We as experimenters who are experienced try and communicate the stats in easy ways to help people buy into it, to be like, hey, it's stat sig. That means it won. That means we shipped decision. So I think some people try and simplify it so we can help get that buy-in. But on the flip side, it creates a false confidence that if stat sig, then do the thing, when in reality, you might reach stat sig after an hour. There's statistical power, there's representation, there's other things, and we could go super nerdy into p-values and stuff, but there's other things that go into stat sig that's not just is tool green. So I think that's one avenue of like the Dunning-Kruger.
But let me ask you, if your only way to prove you're right is the tool saying green, that's not your expertise at all. That's just you seeing if green is green in tool.
Well, but that's the Dunning Kruger, right? Like if you believe you know stats because you look at
I don't think that. How can you believe you know stats? Like you either know stats or you do, like it's a very black and white thing.
Well, but you think you know it because you think it tells you statsig, and you're like, I understand statsig equals ship.
I don't agree. Like
or I guess maybe you know it enough. Is it you know it enough to make the decision?
Yeah, okay.
You think you know it enough, but you don't actually know it enough.
Yeah, I guess that could be one thing. I think this does not really apply to statistics and statsig as much as it applies to, I know UX. I know what's going to work. Like I'm an expert. I can share it on your page.
That's another one. True.
I can make
That's
your page. One. I can lift your conversion by 7,005,600%, whatever.
It's like I've used a website, therefore I know everything that works and doesn't work with your sample size of one.
Yeah, I have good taste. You know, that kind of stuff. I know what people need. I think it's more about that, the illusion. Like you cannot have an illusion of knowing stats. Like that's like I think I'm good at math. You know if you're good at math or not. Like there's no one who I think I can write good stories. I think I can sing. That's something you can think. I think I have good sense of UX, but stats, I don't know, man.
Well, I think sorry, let me clarify. Not knowing stats, it's knowing statistical principles enough.
Okay.
When I say principles, I mean literally the thing is statistical significance, right? That's the thing that people think they understand. And you see this in people who launch a test and then call it after 2 days because they're like, it's statistically significant. Roll it out. Do the thing.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not their confidence in their own abilities. It's the tool telling them it's over and it's done.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fair. Yeah, the tool, there's like Dunning Kruger, and I guess trust. I don't know if it's Dunning Kruger. It's just trust in the tool rather than the stats.
Yep. That's what I meant.
Okay, that's fair. I hear that.
You're not even relying on your knowledge of statistics.
I hear that, but on the flip side, there are other people who will just plug it into a statistic calculator, and it's out of the experimentation tool. There's no colors. It'll just spit out a p-value, and then you're like, oh, it's statistically significant. Ship.
But it's still another tool telling them, and they're not using their...
But the tool isn't telling them to ship it. The tool is just saying it's statistically significant. They are reading into a p-value.
I think that shows lack of trust in someone's own abilities if you have to rely on a tool and then another tool to make a decision.
But that's also fine. If I don't know stats...
But it's not Dunning Kruger. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I understand what you mean. I don't know if I totally agree, but I understand.
But we kind of agree.
I understand your perspective. I just think it is Dunning Kruger to assume you know statistical principles enough that you could go into a tool, pop in a thing, see statistical significance, and say, I know enough about everything stats related to have a p-value and say statistical significance and then say ship.
We can agree to somewhat disagree.
I think we're probably like 80% agree.
I think doing exactly that just shows, doing exactly what you just described just shows that you don't trust your abilities at all, and you need to check a tool, and whatever the tool says, that's what. Let's go to the second one. I'm just pulling my piece of paper down so I don't see my screen. We increased conversions by 300%. The misleading metrics trap sounds like snake oil. Overconfidence.
Oh wow! If only people recorded an episode on snake oil.
Yeah. Just because one test delivered a big lift doesn't mean the person running it understands CRO fundamentals. Dude, I mean, you make a half-court shot, you're not Nikola Jokic, right?
You used it with the accent, which that threw me off. I was like, wait, who?
That's my guy from my country. What else?
I know. Well, we go for us non-basketball nerds. Even I was like,
Steph Curry.
Wow, what a terrible fucking trade. Yeah. Anyway,
no, that's Luka Doncic. Come on, that's a different.
Wait, who
guy.
are you talking about?
Nikola Jokic, a 3-time MVP. Come on, don't do that. Don't offend.
Spell his name. Say it in the American way. His name.
Joker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There you go. Okay, we have to simplify. we have to do it with a Big Mac and fries and just say the name and all that.
America. Hell yeah.
Exactly. Yes. But yeah, that's the guy. Shall we go to the next one?
Yeah.
Why gut feelings fail in CRO? This was good for you. Like this is what you're talking about.
That's related to it's all related to the same thing, right? Like if
it's ChatGPT, like it's just vomit at this point.
No. I'm saying like that. It relates to what we've talked about previously.
Yeah. I mean, all 10 are going to be related anyway because it's just ChatGPT eating content and spitting it out.
You know how much I love ChatGPT.
CRO success requires understanding human behavior, statistical significance, and user experience, not just intuition. Yeah. Overconfidence in instincts often leads to costly mistakes. ChatGPT is dumb, or my prompt
saying the
is
same
horrible.
thing over and over again.
Yes, it is. Let's go through the list, and then maybe we can, if it's all bad, let's just continue. Fine. Best practices are myths in disguise.
By the way, can we revisit that? I'll give No Hacks a shout out for that. What a fire quote to say best practices are always outdated.
By Manuel. It was one of maybe my favorite quote ever on No Hacks. It is so smart and so simple, and what a guest and what an incredible episode.
I'll give No Hacks a shout out. That was awesome. Yeah.
Best practices. People cling to universal truths like put testimonials on the homepage without context. In reality, what works varies dramatically based on audience, offer, and final stage. I believe we're talking about test databases and swipe files here.
Yeah.
And we have our opinions on that, and I'm laughing. So yeah, I'll let you fire the first shot.
Where does Dunning Kruger fit into it? It's the same conversation we've been having around.
Well,
I think like one of the things that really makes people who are experienced in CRO continue to be in CRO is that like guessing tests is a near impossibility. It's not like I am a better guesser than you. It's random. The fact that A/B testing is unpredictable, you don't know what works or doesn't work until you test it. I think that's what keeps all of us so interested in experimentation and keeps us interested in doing it. Like if there was something that you did once and it was guaranteed to work all the time, forever and always in all contexts, first of all, that's a true best practice. Second of all, like you just sell that behind a gate and like make billions of dollars. But that silver bullet thing that people I think look for or assume that we do, it doesn't exist.
I agree with you. I would say it's not 100% random, like tests and guessing the test result. It's not flip a coin situation. It definitely, because your knowledge, previous knowledge will come into play. And if you know the audience, if you know the website, all that, it's never going to be almost never going to be a 50-50.
Well, I guess it depends on what inputs you have. It's random if you and I have no inputs and we're just looking at screenshots. It is more random than if if I looked at all the research and understood the audience.
It is, of course, it's more random. I'm just saying it's never a 50-50 thing. Mm-hmm. It's a lot more random than if you knew something, but it's never completely and absolutely random is what I'm saying. Unless if you have any kind of previous knowledge, it's not going to be random. But that said, I think that this is just listen to that No Hacks episode, everyone. I mean, anything that's a best practice became a best practice in the past, and like if you're going to trust blindly something that says, "Hey, this worked in the past, guaranteed to work in the future," I don't know.
But aren't you contradicting yourself to say like, if it like the institutional knowledge or whatever, that's past knowledge. That's not current or future knowledge.
Yeah.
So like me being an expert on something in the past doesn't mean I know it now.
Let me. I'm saying if you have some previous knowledge, you will have a hint and you will have an idea and a chance to go better than 50%.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that just because everything that the reason why experimentation is something that we have to keep on doing. And it's not, we know more so we could do it less. It should always be done more is because a lot of tests lose.
Yep.
A lot. It was a 33% win by like Ron Kohavi or whatever. Like the number's not high. We lose a lot of tests. we lose a lot of tests because the thing that we built lost. But you had confidence to, I don't mean air quotes. I mean, you had confidence. There's no air quotes. You had confidence to build the thing to then say, I believe this will win. And then you tested it and then it lost. 33% of the time it won, 66% of the time it lost. So I'm challenging that assertion. And I say that because the reason why people are in experimentation is because we don't know what wins or loses. We keep on testing shit. So it's Dunning Kruger. And I'm going to challenge you to say, I think you have a little bit of Dunning Kruger. Because I think what we say in experimentation, the past knowledge is irrelevant. What you test and what happens, you don't know what the fuck's going to happen until you test it. You can have a higher educated guess and your probability
but that's
might
all I'm
improve.
Saying. But that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you'll know. I'm saying you will have a better guess. Trusting blindly something that was measured in 2018? No. God, no.
Testing something in 2025 still doesn't even mean it'll win too.
Of course. That's what I mean. Yeah. You will have, if you have previous knowledge, you will have a better educated guess, and your guess, you're not going to have a 50-50% chance of guessing correctly or wrongly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be 95-5. Like, let's be clear there.
I think I'm using a lot of words. I'll summarize it real quick. To me, the Dunning Kruger for like guessing or like knowing shit in experimentation, like knowing what works, is we're in this field. We've tested a lot of shit. We've been proven wrong so much that us as experimentation people, we know that we suck at guessing. We know that we will build a lot of stuff that we'll lose. That's why the Dunning Kruger is like, oh, I know what works. The people in experimentation know that's a bullshit line. That's why we're experimentation people. If you are, it's interesting because like product owners probably have more Dunning Kruger in experimentation because they have to have a little bit more confidence and strengthen their convictions to just build shit. But CROs and experimentation people, just like we know a lot of shit loses even if we're confident.
But I don't think, in my opinion, CRO people and experimentation people are not necessarily the same group. Like there's a lot of overlap, but it's not the same. I know you see, like you say CRO, you think experimentation and vice versa, but
do you think Dunning-Kruger's higher in CROs than experimentation?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
I agree with that.
So,
but I call myself CRO all the time.
I know.
But and there's a maybe that's another topic episode for CRO After Dark is like, what the fuck do we call ourselves? Because I think to just very quickly touch on this before we move on. I mean, I call myself CRO because that's what everyone else sees it and calls it. So like if everyone else sees it and calls it and that's just the going rate, I'm going to call it. I don't agree with it, but you know what I'm talking about.
No, I do. But but there's still people and agencies and consultants who are specifically CRO.
Pure CRO. Like they are literally, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I'm aligned. I agree with that.
That's more like borderline UX tweaks and stuff like that, and less about experimentation.
They are literally only optimizing for conversion rate. They aren't actually running tests. Or if they are, it's conversion rate optimization tests. Literally button color
literally
tests.
CRO.
Sticky CTA. Exactly.
Literally CRO.
Yeah.
Next one. This is stupid. Beware the loudest voice in the room, the hippo effect. Well, loudest is not always the highest paid. The highest paid person opinion often wins, even when it's rooted in assumptions. The Dunning-Kruger effect is unlimited to beginners. It hits leadership too. I'll let you talk about this one because you have more to say.
Hippo gets a pretty... I talked with Nima about this, and there's other people I've talked to about this. There's a lot of frustration that CROs have. CROs. There's a lot of frustration that experimentation people have around people who don't see the value in experimentation and will just constantly shit on any tests. And going back to the Dunning-Kruger that we talked about in the previous one, I know it works. We don't have to test it. I have an MBA. I have this. I have knowledge. I have this. So CRO, experimentation, whatever, the fuck smorgasbord that we are, we get frustrated when people use that as a cudgel to be like, fuck your test. I know what works. So we generalize that to say, Well, the people who are doing that many times are people who are 5 layers above us, getting paid way more than us. That's why we've generalized it to this hippo thinking.
Yeah.
So there's some frustration, and rightfully so, of just people who do that. The flip side is that person is paid a lot more than you, and also they have a lot more influence. So if we keep on making fun of them and calling them names, then and telling them you don't know what you're talking about, experiments lose, blah, 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 like that's not going to be a winning strategy. So as it relates to Dunning Kruger, they might not know, and it's our job to try and pull them onto our side, not just give them names and yell at them.
Yeah, I had a really interesting conversation with Andre Morris about this about a year ago, when why this even happens, why hippo acts like a hippo is because traditionally in the last 100 years of business, even more, the person at the top is the person who got it right the most time and was able to rise to the top.
Or
and
nepotism.
he got it. Sure.
We can't ignore that.
Well,
sometimes people are put in shitty leadership positions because they failed upward.
Yes.
We can't ignore that.
Talk about nepo babies in Hollywood for a second.
Okay, sorry. I don't. Nepotism was actually the totally wrong word. I don't mean nepotism. I mean, there are people who have failed upwards, right?
Oh, for sure.
So I don't want to assume someone's in a leadership position for a good reason. Sometimes it's a shitty reason.
Yeah.
And that's where people like CROs are pissed when those kinds of people don't see the value in experimentation. You're right. There are people who genuinely make it progress up and are good people in good leadership positions for good reasons. Sometimes it's not, though.
I completely agree. No, but the point I was trying to make before you went to
for no reason.
Lily Depp pros and all those nepo babies, the point I was trying to make is what Andre told me is people who got it far on the corporate ladder, whatever, they got it that far because they were right most of the time with the guesses they were making, and they were not tested things.
Unless they failed upward.
There's that too, yes, but it's not always that. There's quite often, you suggest good things 100 times out of 120 attempts, they're gonna like you and you're going to get promoted. That puts the thought that every time all I do is win. Basically, every time I try, I win. Why would I test anything? And that's why it's difficult to get them to think any other way. Now, I don't think hippo is horrible in my opinion. Like that just like, what do they call the CRO/experimentation people? They call HR to fire them. Basically, when they're called hippos.
You're saying the word hippo is bad, or the hippos are bad?
We're talking about real hippos or hippos like.
In this context, of course. I'm saying, like, is the word bad? Like, we are making fun of them?
Word, yes, of course. And
I agree.
That is dangerous, it's bad, and it's stupid even. Like, why? I don't get it.
You understand the frustration that goes into it, though.
Totally.
That's all. Yeah.
But frustration always goes both ways. So,
good point.
What are the CRO people? Crocodiles? It just makes no sense.
Crocodiles?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fire.
I love
that. That's fire.
Hey.
I was just like, wait a minute. It's Crow, CRO. Did he do that on purpose?
Just on the fly.
I love it. Fantastic.
No, but it goes both ways. That's what I'm saying. If you're frustrated with your hippo, that hippo is annoyed by you or worse.
Or they don't care. Or they don't even know you exist. That's possible.
Well, I mean, then why blame the hippo for not knowing you exist? Are they supposed to look and try to find you? Or are you supposed to make sure the message is delivered?
Yeah. I talked to Michael about this, Michael Augard, Shrek, as I've nicknamed him. Same thing. CROs, experimentation people, are perfectly capable of being dogshit people too. Yeah. And that relates to Dunning Kruger too.
It was a great episode, yeah.
Right, it relates to Dunning Kruger because you could confidently project something on the CRO side that might be wrong, and that CRO person might just know the stats intimately and use a shitty CRO. You might be like, oh, let's call this test after 24 hours because green stat sig, and the product guy who's got a PhD in stats is like, what the fuck are you talking about? No, Go leave me alone. Go do whatever the fuck else you got to do. But I don't trust you. I don't believe you.
Yeah. I'll just say it again. If you know green is green, that's not Dunning Kruger. That's just you not knowing about stats, and you have to watch for green. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
Data without context. These are so bad. Data without context is dangerous.
Did you expect anything from AI?
I kind of did.
I expected
it has the, you know what it has? It has emojis in everyone, and there's like a target emoji, like with a dart, which is like a synonym for growth and AI. You know what I mean.
So cringe.
People who don't understand how to interpret statistical significance, often draw confident conclusions from noisy, unreliable data. CRO isn't about chasing every green arrow in Google Analytics. Like, it's reading our fucking minds.
Well, I mean, it's probably just scraped like everyone talking about
but
this.
we just talked about green, and we just talked about all this. That's sig.
Can you reread that?
Yeah. I'll read the title only. Data without context is dangerous, basically.
Reread the bullet, though.
Yep. People who don't understand how to interpret statistical significance often draw confident conclusions from noisy and unreliable data. CRO isn't about chasing every green arrow in Google Analytics.
So the noisy data is also something that, like, that's a part of stats that I don't know if a lot of people necessarily understand. Like, noisy data can be, oh, we ran a test for 2 days and then we had a brand campaign come in that launched on day 3 to day 13 of the test, and then that brand campaign ended and we're never going to launch that brand campaign again. As an experienced CRO person will be like, oh, let me segment out that data, or let me clean it up, or let me do something with this. Segment it out, whatever it is. Or maybe there's a bug on mobile for the duration of the test. Let me segment it out. Let me retest. That's not Dunning Kruger. That's the confident CRO who actually knows their information, doing good things.
I love that. Let me just flip that, because the examples you have, the result is going to be worse. If you have a brand campaign, if you have a bug on mobile, this is about an influencer tweeting about you or writing about, go buy that product, and everybody goes and buys, and conversion rate goes sky high.
Yeah.
And then you pretend this is because of you. Like, but still, I completely agree with what you said.
Yeah.
The data is polluted. It's on you to figure it out and to be honest about it if the pollution makes your results better than it actually is.
And the good CRO, process-wise, will have intimate knowledge of the campaigns, or at least attempt to investigate and have skepticism.
They should know. Yeah.
Like, if you see that, if for me, my immediate reaction whenever a test wins is I'm like, what could have gone wrong? And then I go look at all of the things that could have gone wrong. It's not, pop the champagne. That was a weird action. I was trying to do like champagne, shake the champagne and pop it. This is CRO After Dark. This is champagne popping, I promise. Just don't get me that horny. Anyway. But
anyway,
when I'm like, I don't pop the champagne immediately, right? I am looking at what are the possible reasons this thing could go wrong. A Dunning Kruger inexperienced CRO who's confident might just be like, the test told me it won. So won, do the thing, move on, right?
The Dunning Kruger person would not be the test told me it won. It would be the test told me I'm smart. I think that's the Dunning Kruger factor in it.
How would it say you're smart?
Well, because look at the win I made. It's not about the test winning. It's about, look at me, I'm an expert. That's the Dunning Kruger factor.
Well, I if that's the case, then would they be in CRO? Because if they're like, I'm smart, they would not run a test. They'd be like, I don't need to run a test. I'm smart. I know. So I'm going to do the thing. You know what I mean?
So this is kind of the Dunning Kruger origin story in CRO. Like when you have a test that was influenced by whatever else and it won. And now, like any supervillain origin story, this is what set you on that path, and you take your super smart and you don't test anymore. Is that it?
I think what I'm saying is,
you were not even listening.
I was listening.
I'm joking.
What I'm saying is it's not a Dunning Kruger for experimentation. if you think you're smart in the field, because you're not in experimentation if you think you're smart, because logically you're not running tests if you think your ideas are the best. Like, right? Like, I think if you believe you know everything and you're incredibly smart, you're not in experimentation. You're a
That's
product
a great
manager.
point.
You're just doing everything.
You're in CRO.
Well, yeah. But I think like this is within CRO, there are other things that are more tactical, like the stats piece and process of experiments and stuff like that. So not like, do you agree with that?
I do. Yeah. I do. Yeah. Let's go to next one. I don't even know if it has 10. It does have 10. It says it has 10. We don't need to test this. We already know what works. Like, what the? Testing is what separates pros from amateurs. True CRO experts knows that markets evolve, behaviors shift, and assumptions must be challenged. I mean, this is great. Thank you, ChatGPT.
That's just a rephrase of the best practice.
All of them are. Yeah. That's what
do you query it? Did you just say give me 10 reasons?
My query was, do you really want to know? Let me find the first. Okay. I want to do a hot take episode about Dunning Kruger effect and CRO with another podcast host. Can you give us 10 talking points?
So I did well. 2 and then rephrased
I did well.
It 8 times.
That's GPT. Let's go to the next one. This is stupid. The tech trap with a gear icon or emoji next to it. Just because someone... Okay, this is good. Okay. Just because someone can use testing tools like Google Optimize...
Oh, God. R.I.P.
Or 2 years ago. Or VWO doesn't mean they understand conversion optimization. Tools don't make you a CRO expert. The methodology does. Yeah, I completely agree with this. I just want to see ChatGPT show me how to use Google Optimize and I'll pay for a subscription.
I guess that goes down to the point of like, just because you have Google Optimize tag installed on your site doesn't mean you are an experimentation expert.
Yeah.
Just because I have a toolbox that I got from opening up a checking account when I was 13. This is a real thing that happened. That doesn't make me an experienced plumber.
No,
right?
No, I don't think it does.
Or electrician or carpenter or whatever.
But it's true. Like, this is the first original thought we have on the list. Well, we had one and then we had 6 more of the same. This is different. I think this is... It's easy to fall into this trap though. Like, if you know how to use a tool and like the tool will show me, like you said, it will show me StatSig, it will show me all that stuff. This is where getting on that Dunning Kruger path becomes easier because
True.
I have a tool that will tell me what to do.
True. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, this is going to be a fun analogy, but like, just because you passed a license to drive a car does not mean you are a good driver. Especially in Austin, these drivers have been awful. So, like, just because you have a thing that tells... I honestly, adjacent to that is just because you took a class in CRO online, it doesn't mean you are capable of doing CRO immediately. I think that's a false Dunning-Kruger too. I'm not throwing any shade at any particular class because I think a lot of classes do a good job of setting you up to start the process of learning.
And that's what they tell you they will do. They don't tell you you're going to be an expert tomorrow. To be fair. Yeah.
Yeah, and so just because you have that certification. And by the way, this is like a more meta point that I've been kind of pissed about is like, not pissed, annoyed is like, I reposted this today. Someone was like, just because you like, if you have to say you're an expert, you're not an expert. Like, if you have to put that somewhere, like if you need to tell people you're an expert, you're not. Do it on merit. Do it on the rituals and activities.
Yep.
Don't brag about that.
Or let others say it.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I am a chameleon, thought leader, experimentation.
Dude, you have the LinkedIn badge as well. The blue one.
Well, that doesn't make me an expert. It just means I commented on LinkedIn a lot.
That was my point.
Liked it. Yeah. I'm not a top voice. I am just a credentialed top voice.
You are.
But it is a good point. I do really like that point. Owning a tool doesn't make you an expert. Mm-hmm. Having a certification doesn't make you an expert. No. Let me flip it around. what makes you a CRO expert? Like what is the actual qualification that says you are an expert?
Well, you need the tool you mentioned. You need to know how to use the tools. You have to.
Yeah.
If you can get
or project manage the tools.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because like I don't know how to code. That doesn't mean I'm not an expert in experimentation. I have just offloaded some of the engineering work
as it should be done. Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the next thing would be you need to have a process. It needs to be solid, and you need to stick to it. I think in your optimization in your work.
But that's also subjective too, right? Like someone could argue your process is following best practices.
I said it needs to be good.
Okay. No, well, but that,
But absolutely, yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just having a process and like my process is I'm going to shoot myself in the foot every morning. No, like that's not a process.
I recommend not doing that. But what do
every morning.
Like you can space it out. It's fine.
Cognitive bias in action. The Dunning Kruger effect thrives when people misunderstand how complex CRO really is. It's not just changing fuck you with the button colors. It's not just changing button colors. It's understanding user motivation, friction, and persuasion. Yeah, nice one. I love that call out. But we had this before on the list. Like a version of this on the list. But I mean, I guess this is when you talked about you set up one campaign, you had a brand or one test, one experiment, you had a brand campaign and kind of did well, and now I'm flying, now I'm an expert. I guess this is that. Do you agree?
Say it again.
We talked about I don't know which point it was. We talked earlier about having an experiment. And while you're having an experiment and you don't even know, there's a brand campaign or an influencer campaign or whatever that boosts your results up.
Yeah.
And now, only God's above me, basically, is how you feel next day. This is it. Like, this is you thinking you're better than you are based on some objective or subjective results.
Yeah. As you were saying that, I was thinking of another one too. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why I was like, say it again, because I went my brain veered off the left a little bit. If you're like looking at a brand campaign, I've had people tell me to do this. Like, you run a brand campaign, you have traffic coming to the site, and then people will walk up, like they'll be like, "Oh, how'd the brand campaign do?" And it's like, "Oh, we generated like 3 leads, and nothing really came from that." And then the brand campaign is like, oh shit, we spent like $1 million on this campaign and it's done nothing. So then the brand campaign team is like, oh, what about engagement? Did bounce rates go down? And it's like when you then start asking those questions of like, you're a Dunning Kruger. I guess this is just a bad CRO.
I don't think this is Dunning Kruger. This is just evil.
This is just
plain evil. Yeah. This is the snake oil episode we had.
Well, so I guess maybe let me challenge this. Let me know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Dunning Kruger is if you think you could declare test success by micro conversions only.
If you honestly and genuinely think that, 100%, yes. If you try to fish for any metric that will make you look good because you know it's not good, no, that's not done.
No, not saying that. I'm saying,
yes.
saying in this case, it's something I saw. Someone's bragging about like a 400% lift to button clicks to like get people into a forum, and they're like, "This is a huge test win." I was like, "Is it? Why are you only talking about button clicks? What about did form fills go up at all? Did it change at all? What happened on the page? Like, tell me more." And Dunning Kruger is being a CRO thinking you could confidently call a test a winner.
Yeah.
You could learn something from it. I think you could very much, and maybe that's a definitional thing. Maybe they're calling it a winner because they're like, we learned something really interesting. If that's how you're doing it, that's not Dunning Kruger. I would agree with that. That's an interesting thing that you learned, and you're going to take away and do something with that to actually get a win-win, money generating. Fine. But if you're like, if your trophy case of test wins is like a bunch of improvements to like clicks, or like bounce rates or engagement rates or like increase people in funnel 2, all the micros, without also, ever talking about macro. You know,
but also thinking, look at me, I'm so awesome. Look at what I did. That's Dunning Kruger. Yes, absolutely yes. So yeah,
there's a lot of overlap between shitty CRO and Dunning Kruger because, of course, if you are Dunning Krugering, you're a shitty CRO.
Yeah, but there's overlap, but there are some very important differences between the two.
Yeah,
I think because one is, I think I know, but I don't. The other one, well, shitty CRO. I mean, there's overlap, but the other one would be, I know this is not great, but I have a way to show it as a big win. That's snake oil. That's horrible.
Damn, we're hitting the trifecta. Well, wait.
Amazing.
Give me an example of the trifecta of snake oil, Dunning Kruger, shitty CRO.
I mean, what you just talked about, the micro conversions go up like that. You're winning the micro conversions game.
So like we ran a homepage test and we increased add to carts by 3%.
Click-through rate, add to cart, whatever, yes. But people are not buying.
And it wasn't statistically significant.
Maybe it was. Like, it doesn't matter. In this case, it doesn't really matter.
Okay. And they didn't present any other metrics.
Because they checked and they're bad.
Yes, exactly. That's a big differentiator. Yep.
Yeah,
that's the snake oil part.
Yeah. But that's all three.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that's specifically the snake oil
part.
part.
That's not Dunning Kruger then, because then they know.
True. So I guess you can't be a snake oil and a Dunning Kruger.
If anyone's watching this, please give us an example of snake oil and Dunning Kruger in one person.
I think you can't fundamentally have Dunning Kruger and snake oil.
You can't.
Yeah. Okay.
We discovered something today.
Hell yeah. We did it.
It's happening.
Is that a good way to wrap? We did it.
We have one more. Like, who knows what's gonna happen? I think we have one more. The CRO learning curve. Yeah. The journey goes from this is easy, I know it works, to wow, this is more complex than I realized. The best CRO specialists have moved through that curve and know they'll never fully arrive. That just shows that ChatGPT agrees with you on what Dunning Kruger is, because if you're smart but you think you're dumb, like you're not that smart, that's I will never arrive, basically, or humble.
If
you know a lot. Yeah. But you have the imposter syndrome and all that. That's the other side of Dunning Kruger.
Is that what it's saying?
That's exact. I mean, there's no more.
It sounded not like that.
The best CRO specialists have moved through that curve and know they'll never fully arrive. I don't know. I want to believe.
This is my read of it. It sounded more like if you're a CRO and you think you've learned everything you need to know, but that's 10% of what actually is in the CRO verse. Then that's Dunning Kruger, which
probably
that's how I took it.
Definitely, not probably, definitely. Yes.
That's how I took that comment. That's how I took that
maybe
statement.
Let's just give us one more. I'm just typing now. But something completely crazy.
Also good.
Crazy, and Shiva says make it good. Hey.
It'd be like, what is a Shiva?
What's a Shiva? Let's see what it says. Maybe CRO is just astrology for marketers. This should have been the topic. Let me read it. Let's be real. No, how's that for crazy Shiva?
That's like roasting CRO.
It ends with how's that for crazy Shiva. Let's be real. Sometimes CRO advice sounds like horoscope, vague, confident, and applicable to everyone, but backed by sketchy data.
This is the first time, actually I lied. This is the second, actually I lied.
This is not bad.
This is the third time I've been impressed by AI.
Are we running experiments or just finding patterns where none exist? Let's talk about when CRO goes full pseudoscience and how to avoid it. This is the best one.
Okay, there are 3 times I've been impressed by AI in this.
This is the
first one is whoever wrote that AI LinkedIn profile roaster, amazing. I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
The second time I was impressed was with your podcast roaster. Shout out to you. That was very impressive, very funny.
Did you see the social share image? We had that generated on the fly with the thumbnail of your podcast. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Thank
A+.
you. Thank you.
I'll give you the shout out. You do deserve that. That was awesome. I guess that I will give you credit in addition to the AI, so it's shared. But you made it good. The third time I was impressed was AI roasting. There's a theme here, right? If AI roasts, it's good. But they just roasted the fuck out of CROs. Are CROs just astrologists? What's our zodiac sign following? But that is this. It's not Dunning Kruger, but it's fucking hilarious.
I just asked it to roast CRO.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Okay.
This is still no. It just gave me a long list. But CRO as astrology for marketers, and this is again CRO versus experimentation. There's a huge difference there.
Experimentation is not astrology.
No,
CRO is.
Experimentation is astronomy.
I like that.
The CRO industry loves to wrap itself in the language of science, experiments, hypotheses, stats sake, but let's be honest, much of it is just educated guesswork dressed up in a Google Data Studio dashboard.
Okay, can we tease this for the next episode? I think our CRO scientists is a very interesting next episode.
Or astrologists.
Fine. Are we scientists or astrologists? Fine. I think that's a good next one.
This is good. Yeah, this is good.
Okay.
This turned out better than I thought it would be.
I am impressed. And I do like the idea of just keep on pinging AI to give us ideas. Although we might have to do some pre-screening on like not repeating the same fucking words over and over
again. That makes it fun, but let's see what we do next. This was an AI generated podcast, people listening to this.
Shiva wasn't actually talking this whole time.
It started with AI. Like AI told us what to say. That's what I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying this.
No.
I thought the way you were going was to say neither you or I were actually talking, and these were AI generated voices.
We can do that as well, but this time it's us. You have the video to see us, people. But this was good.
AI video be wild. No one can AI generate this level of unhinged.
No way. Not yet. Not in 25. No. It was good. It was good.
Let us know in the comments if you guys like this.
Let us know what's your CRO zodiac sign. Tell us.
Also, we want to hear more CRO after dark topics, things that are not more mainstream, things that are like interesting, like our CRO scientists, more controversial shit.
That would be very, very good because we need help there.
Yeah. Sonny, this was fun.
A lot of fun.
All right. CRO after dark.
Take care.
Good night.